Hello, welcome. Today, I'm Shelley Walker. I am the owner of Dog Training Elite Treasure Coast in North Palm Beach County. And today I wanted to make an instructional and kind of an informational video about what a service dog journey would look like. I get a lot of questions and it's actually very detailed. So please feel free to watch this content over and over at different stages if you do go down this program, because there's a lot of content to understand. And I just want you to know that we care, we're so passionate about this. It's not a title for us, a service dog. It's a life-changing bond between you and your dog, and we've seen it firsthand how our service dogs have changed and have actually saved lives. So I want to introduce you to our service dog training program, invite you along, as well as give you some important information of what it would look like if you came down this path with us. And I'll give you some structure, some content, as well as kind of the step-by-step what you'll be receiving as well. All of our service dog training is lifetime training support, lifetime group classes, and we also provide lifetime service dog group class outings. So in order to become a service dog with Dog Training Elite, and that is my standard, is that you must have an advanced obedience trained dog. First and foremost, we don't want to be one of those people that's out in Publix or out in a store and they have a vest on but they don't act like a service dog. We actually train legitimate and very high quality, high trained dogs that are not reactive in any environment, but also, to be honest, not every dog can become a service dog. So we know that, so we're going to do something called a adult temperament test, or if it's a puppy, we're going to do a puppy temperament test wherever possible. So if you came to us and you're saying, hey Shelley, I would like to get a puppy, I want my dog to be able to be maybe, for example, a seizure alert detection or a medical alert, maybe diabetic alert dog detection, scent detection, then what would I do? So we would first off find out the breed that you would like, and breed does matter when it comes to scent work. So there's probably 5, maybe 6 breeds that I would recommend. We would help to find the breed and the breeder of the dog of your choice. We always go for preferences. We try to go for preferences, but we also have to go for functionality of the job that the dog has to do for you. So sometimes I'll get somebody who comes and asks me and says, I want my border collie to be my mobility support dog. Well, just so you understand, a mobility support dog, they have to be 1/3 of your total body weight. So if you're 6'2" and you weigh 210 pounds and your border collie only weighs 35 pounds, you cannot have that dog as a mobility support dog because they wouldn't be able to handle the weight of your body, and we'd hurt our dogs. We don't want to do that. So that's just an example. So we want to make sure we get the right dog for you from the beginning. Can we use rescues? Yes, for some types of service dog programs that we offer. So if I'm looking for a diabetic alert dog or dogs that have to use their scent or their nose, I'm not as keen to suggest or recommend a rescue dog, because we don't have formatting from the beginning. With a dog that's going to do medical alert, this is your life that they're going to protect. You know, you don't want to take a chance on will they work, will they not work for you when the time really matters. So we want to make sure we get the right breed who will stay for you in the long haul to do the job that you need them to do. Remember, a service dog is actually a dog that is legally and according to the ADA, a dog that actually performs 1 to 2 medical tasks for you. It's no different than saying you have a wheelchair, your dog becomes like a physical aid for you. And wherever a wheelchair would go, that's where your service dog would go, as long as it's safe to do so. A therapy dog is a dog that works for others. They go to hospital environments, they go to airports, wherever people are anxious, and they go give love. They're so good at giving love and snuggles, etc. So doesn't mean that your service dog can't give love and snuggles, but your dog works for you. And it's usually one person. Sometimes they can alert for other people, but that's not their job. Their job is to focus and alert for you. So let's go right back to the very beginning with puppy. So if you came to us and you said you wanted to have a puppy, we'd help you with finding the right breed, the breeder, etc. And let's say, for example, they have 8 puppies in the litter. So right from the time that they're born, we're in communication with that breeder, and we like to do something called the Volhard temperament test. And we do that test on day 49 of their lives. what that test is, it's scientifically been proven that with the 15 different tasks that we do the exact same thing with each one of the dogs, with the same energy, the same tone, the same bubbliness, etc. And then there's 6 different scores as to how that dog could react or respond to the testing that we do. So we rate each one of the dogs with each of the 15 tasks. At the end, we tally up all the numbers, and based on how those dogs score, we can say, you know, it's actually a snapshot, believe it or not, into the dog's life and what they're going to be like as an adult dog. And day 49 is kind of a magic day where they've discovered that you can pretty accurately depict whether or not this would be a good dog or a good candidate for you down the road when your dog's an adult. So ideally, we would like to pick one of those puppies. So we go through the litter, we do the testing, we give them, the owner, the results of the test. Obviously, I don't like to know the puppy that you like off the get-go. I would rather it just be, you know, totally blind study. But 9 times out of 10, it ends up working out being the same puppy that you had your eyes and your interest and heart set on. But remember, we're still trying to go for the dog that's going to do the job, not necessarily the cute, fluffy one that doesn't have the skills and abilities to do the job. So ideally, we try to put the 2 of them together, wants and needs, but we still want to always have it trump that your needs are a little bit more of the priority. Obviously, we can, if there's female and male and you would like one of those, then we would obviously try to pick the female or male that you chose. So if that was a puppy. Now, if you came to us and you had, say, a 6-month-old dog and you wanted us to maybe train your dog, or you had a rescue that you wanted it to be a PTSD or psychiatric service dog or mobility, then it doesn't have to be a brand new puppy. It could be an older dog or a rescue, but first off, we want to see what is this temperament, what are its drives. I want to do what's called an adult temperament test, and I want to see not necessarily the manners and the obedience, but I want to see how does this dog respond to you and to different scenarios that I put the dog through. So for example, I'll have the dog go over a scary grate. Is it saying, heck no, I'm not going to go over this gate? And it just shows me they can be afraid, but I want them to have a little bit of trust with their handler that's bringing them in. I'm going to drop things on the floor and see how does the dog respond. Does the dog bolt? Do they want to run? Are they super fearful? Or I'm going to bring out like a flirt pole. A flirt pole is basically a pole with a rope on it, and it'll either have a tug on the end or a squeaker toy of some type. And our dogs that have high play drive, they're going to grab that. They're like, woohoo, this is the best day ever. I'll grab squeaker toys. I'm going to grab food. I'm going to see how does this dog respond. And how do they react to things that I'm asking them to do? It's all about relationship, and it really matters when you don't want to have a fearful dog that doesn't want to follow through. So when we're doing this temperament test, to the very best of our ability, we're saying, yes, I think this dog could potentially become a service dog, and it stops there. We don't say, yes, it is going to be a service dog, because we just don't know yet. So we now, if we said yes, then what happens next is you have to go through our advanced obedience training program. That happens here at our training center. We do offer an in-home platinum advanced obedience training program, but because this dog is potentially going to become a service dog, we really feel that it's important that you have your dog go through our training center program, because there's so many more distractions here. We can see how they interact with other dogs here, and we can also put them into scenarios where you might not put them, as far as maybe we run the vacuum cleaner around and we watch and we see how do they respond. Maybe we run a bicycle around and we see how do they react and respond. So we can kind of help the dog to get the manners and obedience and curb any type of reactivity or fear when they're here with us. Whereas you might not see that when you're at home, maybe you work all day. So we just have a little bit more of ability to foresee things and also help the dog in your dog's training skills. So first and foremost, we take your dog through our advanced obedience program. Our Platinum Advanced Obedience Program, you're going to get a training outline of what that looks like. All the content and details are here as well. What it looks like is it is a 10-day day camp boot camp. So that means that your dog would be here on a Monday to Friday, and the dog would get dropped off between 8 to 10 in the morning, okay? Then it can be any time in that time, and then your dog is going to get worked 6 to 10 times in that day. Okay, what does a working session look like? So the dog will go outside with our trainer. They'll have a potty break, excuse me, and then they're going to come in and they're going to work for about 10 minutes. Then they come in after their working session, then we usually play with them for a little bit, whatever their play drive is. Maybe they like a ball, maybe they like a tug. We just want to play and interact with them a little bit, and then we take them and get them a water, and then we put them up onto a play cot where they now get to watch all the other dogs get trained. So that repeats 6 to 10 times a day. But the most important part of the day is at the end of the day where you come back. We know they missed you like crazy. So when they see you, they lose their mind, and we totally understand that. So we have you reconnect with them. You're gonna take your dog outside, let them potty, play with them a little bit, and then come back in. And then our trainers are going to spend 15 to 20 minutes with you, and they're going to tell you what they did with your dog. They're going to show you what they did with your dog that day, and then they're going to hand you the leash and have you practice what your dog learned that day. Okay? But that's not the end, because it was school and boot camp. So when you go home, you are going to get let your dog rest, have dinner, but you're also going to get an email, and in that email it is going to be a link is going to be sent in that email to a YouTube video of basically us showing you with one of our dogs the lesson that your dog learned that day. So it's really important that you practice each night. So, because we don't want the dog to learn that they just have to do and follow through here. We want them to understand that they have to follow through at home as well. So the next day when you come in, it's really important. The trainers are going to ask you 2 questions. They're going to say, how did it go last night? So either you can say, it went great, it went terrible, it went okay, or you know what, I was just too busy, honestly, to do anything last night. All of that matters, because then our trainers know what we need to do to help elevate your dog in their skills. And the next question they're going to ask you is, what time are you coming to pick up your dog? So, because it's not because we're excited to have your dog go home, but we want to know if everybody came all at the same time, that would be mayhem. So we kind of try to stagger the pickups a little bit. So that's basically day 1 through 5. Your dog's going to learn different skills each day. Then the second week, your dog is going to be at home with you, where you're going to practice everything that you learned on week 1. We're also going to do a one-on-one, 1-hour appointment where we're going to help you to basically take the language that you just learned and have it put together, so that you're both speaking the same language, and we're gonna just help it at home a little bit, because sometimes they act a little bit different at home than they do when they're at the training center. So that appointment is so helpful. And then once you've had that appointment, then we clear you to get to come to a group class. It's a requirement that you do at least that one in home and 1 group class before you come back to our advanced obedience school, because we need to make sure that your dog understands basic obedience before we move on to advanced. Okay, so then your dog usually comes back on week 3 for, again, a Monday to Friday, and that is your advanced obedience. They're going to learn everything that they probably learned on week 1, but with more distance, duration, distraction, and then they're going to complete their platinum program and their advanced obedience. It's really cute. They get a graduation picture with a really cute graduation hat and a certificate. Now, this is the advanced obedience program. So now you're going to attend, this is important, you're going to attend minimally 4 group classes. Then we're also going to give you 2 tests. So the tests are all in one, and they are basically a canine good citizens test. Is your dog a good community citizen? Are they going to be able to function well in the community? We don't know that yet, because they've only been in this environment. So the Canine Good Citizen test and our Dog Training Elite Service Dog Public Access Test, we put them together, and we're going to give you this so that you now, you're going to take your dog and this test, and you're going to go to as many public outing places as you can. I recommend places like Home Depot or Lowe's, Tractor Supply, or pet stores. Any place that'll like. I also recommend going to pet-friendly restaurants so that they can practice having the manners and obedience that are listed on that test, okay? You want to practice everything that is on that test, so that in 4 weeks' time from when you graduated from your advanced obedience, then you are going to be coming to meet me, and we're going to see, is your dog capable of becoming a service dog? Okay, so we're going to do kind of it's called milestone number 1. You're going to get this sheet as well. And the milestone 1 basically says, we meet at Bass Pro Shop. It's a pre-qualification test, but more of an orientation into service dog. So we're gonna meet, your dog has to be able to have some requirements. So the things that are on that test, yes, your dog's gonna have to be able to do them at this stage. Do they have to be perfect? No. But yes, they're gonna have to demonstrate that they have the skills of what it's gonna take to become a service dog. So I'm gonna spend about an hour with you at Bass Pro Shop, and we're gonna actually go through it like it was the test that you have been given the answers to. I know, you're welcome. I gave you the answers to the test ahead of time, but it's more of a teaching thing for me, because having a service dog is not easy. And so we're gonna have a safe environment where I'm gonna teach you kind of a day in the life of a service dog. What does it look like to have a service dog? As well, I'm evaluating your dog to see, does it have any reactivity? Can it hold its commands when you're out in public? And would it be a good citizen if we went further into the service dog program? At the end of that, I'm going to say either not yet, because your dog needs to be able to do maybe some more impulse control, or hold the commands a little bit better. So you might not get to be invited into the service dog training school yet. You might have to go practice a couple more weeks and then come back. It doesn't mean no, you're kicked out yet, but it might mean no, not yet. So the second part of that is, okay, if we said yes. So if we said yes, then according to here as well, you will be sent your invoice that we already talked about, whatever service dog program that you are going to be moving on to. We'll send that invoice ahead, and then you will need to accept it unless there's other arrangements, pay for it, or whatever other arrangements have been made. And as well, you are now going to be invited to our test prep week. So it is a 3-day test prep. We call it desensitization school. So basically, we're going to put your dog through some pretty intense boot camp. So we're going to take your dog on Monday and Tuesday. We're going to take them on 2 public outings. So we're going to do that test that you were also given, but we're going to be much tougher on your dog, not in a mean way, but just making sure your dog truly can be a service dog, and that there's not fear. And if they are, we want to help them overcome that. It's about building the confidence of your dog when they see something that scares them, right? And then that's why we're calling it desensitization training. As well, while they're here, we're gonna especially on day 3, but on the day 1 and day 2 for sure, we're adding every distraction we possibly could think of. For example, my grandchildren will come and they might dress up in a Martian suit, or they're gonna get on skateboards, or maybe a hoverboard, or maybe the hover remote control cars, and they're gonna drive the cars all around. Maybe they'll throw toys or squeaker toys or snacks on the ground, and the dogs have to hold their position while there's all this going on. And I know right now you're sitting there going, my dog would never be able to do that. And you're probably correct right now. If you're just watching this video for the first time and you're seeing, 6, 8, 10 weeks down the road, you don't see what I see, because I see miracles happen every day. And I know that by the time we get to this stage that your dog actually can do that. We'll actually have your dog and 4 or 5 other dogs in the middle of the training center, and they're this far apart, and they're nose to nose. And for the ones that want to play, they're like, oh, I want to play so bad, but they don't. They hold their position, and they have to hold it for 5 minutes while we throw treats in the middle, while we have balls. Some go totally crazy over a ball or a squeaker toy or a tug. Like all these things that they're fun distractions too. Or what about a vacuum cleaner? Those things are terrifying, right? So basically, we're just trying to desensitize your dog to something that might be fearful to them, but we let them know that it's not a big deal. So that when you get on an airline and you show up and all of a sudden somebody else is sitting beside you 2 seats over and they have a service dog, you don't ever want to have to worry about, is your dog safe, or is your dog going to act out with that other dog being there? You want your dog to just go, yeah, no big deal. That's what we mean by high level advanced manners, obedience, and skill as well. So we do day 1, day 2, day 3 of the advanced desensitization. Then you get 1 day off, and then we come back and we actually do your service dog qualification test. So that would be your milestone 2. So your milestone 2 is actually where we do your public access readiness. Okay, so we're gonna meet usually at a Walmart or a Sam's Club or a public store where there's lots of distraction. And we're gonna basically do the same pre-test that we did at Bass Pro Shop, but we're gonna put everything together with the distraction, etc., right in a store where there's usually lots of clients. and other customers. There's grocery carts, etc. So we're going to help the dog, and then when your dog passes that, then that means that they are now going to be able to become a service dog in training. They are not a service dog yet. You've just been granted that by passing that test, your dog is now entered into becoming basically getting to go to service dog school. Okay, it was just kind of called like an entrance exam to come to service dog school. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to have you reach out to the staff, and they're going to let you know. We're going to do a one-on-one 1-hour task training appointment. Okay, at your first appointment, you'll receive a service dog training journal. This is really important information. Everything in here, in the front half of the book, is everything you didn't even know you needed to know about owning a service dog. What can people ask you? What can't they ask you? The content in here is phenomenal. And then the back half of the book is actually a training log, so you can track your dog's training on a daily basis. It's a 365-day training log. I usually sign off on these every 6 months just to help make sure that your dog is staying at that dog training elite high-level standard of manners and obedience, and as well working for you as a service dog. At that time as well, you're going to get an in-training service dog training ID, and as well you're going to get a service dog leash, either blue or red, and it will have an in-training sleeve on here so that you can now start taking your dog out in public. But honestly speaking, right at that day, your dog is not a service dog, because your dog, according to the ADA law, it has to be able to perform 2 tasks for you. So as soon as possible, even on day 1 of your task training session, we're going to teach you 1 task, and then we're going to meet weekly for 1 hour at a time to be able to go over your tasks, okay, and teach your dog tasks. So usually within the first 2 weeks, at least your dog is learning a skill of a task that you're going to need for whatever disability you have. And there's many, many, many different tasks, and there's no 2 dogs that are the same, and there's no 2 dogs that do the task the same way, okay? So that would be your week 1 when you start your task training session. Then we're going to help you along this process. Once your dog for the next 2 or 3 months gets more knowledgeable about practicing each of the tasks, we're going to send you home with lesson sheets just like you did all the way through your advanced obedience. Your tasks now become commands, and your dog learns to start working with you as a team. They start off looking like a trick, but the key relationship is when it turns from a trick to your dog being able to read you and understand when you are, maybe you don't know that you're triggered, maybe you don't know that you're emotional, and something goes on, and all of a sudden your dog comes up and does deep pressure therapy. I promise you, you'll probably cry the first time that happens, because your dog really connected with you and realized, because you might want to give your dog heck because they broke a command, but then all of a sudden you realize your dog was doing deep pressure therapy, and you're like, okay, yeah, you're right, I am really triggered, and you didn't even know it. That was near and dear to my heart, because I lost my dad and 2 of my dogs in November last year. It was really, really tough time for me, and I remember just sitting across from a couple in this exact chair, and I was talking to them, and I didn't even know I was really that emotional, because I was trying to, talk to them about our dog training programs, and my dog broke a command, and he came and he did deep pressure right in front of them, right in front of another dog, and I actually started to cry, because I was like, my dog disobeyed a command, but everyone knew, including that other dog, that he was doing it because it was necessary. And isn't that beautiful? That's what we want, is our dogs to understand us when we need it and we don't even know we do. So that's what we're doing. We're building that bond, that relationship, that connection with you and your dog. So now we're going to keep doing task training appointments, however many your dog needs, and the program that you've purchased to help your dog be able to work for you in that capacity. Once they get, between 3 to 6 months, they will get a certificate. They'll get this little bag, and in the certificate, there is going to be a congratulations, you graduated from your service dog task training. You're also going to get a dog training elite shirt that says that you are a service dog handler. I think it's pretty cute. As well, we are going to see if your dog is ready to perhaps graduate from their in-training program to become a full service dog, and we call that your milestone 3, your service dog training completion. So that, in my opinion, is where your dog becomes a fully qualified service dog instead of just a service dog in training. While your dog is in training, we want you to take your dog to every possible public outing that you can with your dog, so your dog gets used to and gets normalized into every situation, whether or not it's restaurants or maybe workplaces, etc. Then when we do the full qualification test, we're going to help you to get there. The test is a different test than what you did for the initial service dog in training. However, it is more about relationship with you and your dog. So we're going to help you every step of the way as to what you need to practice to prepare for that test. But once that happens, then your dog, you're going to get your service dog training journal. You're going to get your service dog ID, but this time I'm going to register you with the U.S. Service Dog Registries. So your dog is now a fully qualified service dog. We're going to need some information from you as well. We're going to need to know your date of birth, your dog's date of birth as well, because this is now, your dog is attached to you, okay? This card will be valid for 2 years, so it's going to have a 2-year expiration on it, and then we'll have to do your 2-year professional re-endorsement at 2 years after that date. So at that time as well, your dog is also going to get a Dog Training Elite Service Dog Vest, okay? What we're basically saying is that we are putting a stamp of approval that we believe that your dog is going to act as a good citizen out in the community, and we're willing to put our name on it, which is why we have these checks and balances in place, because we're a professional organization and we really take seriously what we do, because we want your dog to be the very best they can be for you at home and out in public. As well, you're going to get a service dog plaque that says your dog's name and your name on it, as again a commemoration of how much work you put into this, and it's something that you can cherish and put on your wall to say how proud you are of your dog as well. So after that, then we encourage you to come. I can't make you, but we have service dog outings. And we'll go to places like, maybe we'll go on the Bright Line train and we will take a whole bunch of people. Maybe we'll go out for dinner, maybe we'll go on a boat ride, we'll go out for lunch, or we're just going to do things where you might like to take your dog, but you might be a little bit fearful of doing it for the first time with a service dog. So we're going to go with you as a pack. We rent out an entire movie theater and we go to the movies with our dogs. It's pretty cool. We try to get into airports and go through TSA. It's pretty difficult. We're totally dependent on the airports, how busy they are, whether or not we're allowed to do that. But we like to be able to help you to be able to take your dogs into environments where you want to take your dog, but it would be nice to go with a group of people who also have dogs, so you can be a support network for one another. But like I said, our training is lifetime training support, lifetime group classes, and anything that you need, we're here to help you every step of the way. So if you have any more questions, I know this was a lot of information, but you can watch this and rewind it and play it as many times as you want, but we're here for you. That's the point. We want to help you in this journey. Having a service dog is not easy. It's not just because you want your pet everywhere. It's usually because there's something in your life that you need to have a service dog. So we want to come along in that journey with you and partner with you and help you every step of the way. So thank you for coming along. Again, I'm Shelley Walker, and we're just honored to be partnered with you and your dog and helping this become such a beautiful experience for you. So have a wonderful day. Take care.